What three pieces of legislation has Harry Reid blocked that would help the economy and also has bipartisan support?
Well, what they have done in virtually every measure that they brought up, they've put a tax increase in it because they want to play class warfare. They call it tax increases on millionaires and billionaires. Look, we don't have the need for a tax increase. We have a need for a spending reduction. So what they do in almost every measure is just drop a tax increase in there that they know we aren't going to go along with because we think it's bad for the economy, and then blame us for not passing it. Look, they're in the majority. Their obligation ought to be to pass things, not to look for ways to see that they're defeated. Mm-hmm. And there have been a couple of occasions where we did things that were good for the country. We passed three free trade agreements with Korea and Colombia and Panama. They were negotiated by the Bush administration, sat on the president's desk for over 3 years. Finally, they sent them up. So we've done occasionally things, but you never hear the president mention in any of his speeches the things that we've done together. There are plenty of things we could do together if they'd quit playing games. They're the ones who are obstructing progress here in the Senate. Make no mistake about it.
Well, the House Republicans have passed multiple pieces of legislation that would help reduce—
On a bipartisan basis?
On a bipartisan basis that would help reduce the size of government, reduce our deficit, entitlement reform, and yet they're sitting in Harry Reid's drawer somewhere, tucked away? Yeah,
well, I would take recently, just the day before we are speaking here in this interview, the House repealed the so-called Class Act, mm-hmm. which is part of Obamacare, that the Democratic chairman of the Budget Committee in the Senate called a Ponzi scheme. The administration has even admitted that it can't possibly work. We ought to have that vote in the Senate. I expect they won't want to have it.
Now, while Republicans are focused on the presidential race, of course, is there a potential for them to lose sight on the battle that's going to take place in the Senate as well? Because in order for Obamacare to get repealed, we need to win back the Senate. Mm-hmm. So do you think enough of an emphasis is being placed on the Senate battles that are going around the country, and what is the opportunity that Republicans could make in 2012 in the United States Senate?
Well, certainly the Senate will not be as big a picture, as big an issue as the presidency, because everybody in America votes on the presidency, and only various states will vote on individual Senate races. But I assure you we're fixated on it. And there are 23 Democratic seats up and 12 and only 10 Republican seats. So we feel that we have a lot of opportunities to pick up the 4 seats that we need to have a majority here. Now, a majority doesn't solve every problem in the Senate. It takes 60 votes to do most things. But the majority leader gets to set the agenda, decides what bills we turn to. We would have the committee chairman who would determine what kind of bills to mark up and report out, what kind of hearings to have, what kind of oversight to engage in. So it would make a difference, even though it wouldn't give us total control, because we're not going to get to 60, to have a majority, and we think we have a good opportunity to get there.
How confident are you in—
Well, you know, I never measure the curtains as far in advance, but I think we have a good opportunity.
Senator McConnell, thank you for joining Human Events for an interview.
Thank you.